Raise your hand if you want to have a good day. Stand up if you want to have a great day. Let's go. This is some nostalgia from the 90s. Okay. If you want to have a great week, jump. Jump. If you want to have a great week, jump. Online, YouTube, on the road, jump. Jump. Everybody go. All right. Dan Lanning, the coach of the Ducks, this jersey that I'm wearing this morning, was based in the Wisconsin team. And that's their song that they play on the fourth quarter every game to psych out the opponent. The stands go crazy. They take this little break, and they just kind of screw with the minds of their enemies because the stadium, 30, 40,000 people are going crazy jumping. And it seems like, unless they, watch the film, they don't know what's everybody so excited about. And it's still the passion, it's still the confidence that robs the other team of their energy. So Dan Lanning knows this, right? He's done his homework. And instead of trying to block it out, instead of trying to be negative about it, to put it down, he flips the script. He's going to reverse the curse. And he's going to play that song every practice before they go against Wisconsin. So that when it's going to play in the fourth quarter, like Pavlov's dog, they're going to have a reaction. We trained for this song. We are excited just as much as they're excited. So no team has ever done this before. They are there at the game, and it starts playing. You can watch this online. It's crazy. The Ducks start going crazy, doing backflips. They're just doing all these cool things in the fourth quarter. And the Wisconsin team's looking at them like, what? This usually, messes up the other team. But they flipped the script. They reversed the curse. They changed the energy because they reframed it and they trained it. What if you stop running from what you're afraid of? What if you stop trying to block out and move away from what's discouraging you, from the enemy's song that might be in your head? The enemy wants you to have a certain reaction, whether that's a real person to you or something spiritual, and you flip the script. You use the song as your new anthem. And instead of trying to win, you're going to train to overcome. I want to challenge you today with whatever you're messing with that's holding you back. I want to challenge you to flip the script. That's a way to reverse the curse, is to flip the script. Why let it control you? Let it compel you. Why don't you turn that pain into purpose? Turn that mess into a message. Turn that fear into fierceness. What if you could take what you're complex about and let it be a catalyst that you flip the script and you move forward? Flip the script. All right. How many of you in here have ever been afraid of what people think about you? Yeah. Most of us are like the rest of us. In my 20s, it was debilitating. I would walk into a room and I would hear 1,000 voices in my head. Yeah, I needed help. Nobody was talking to me, but I was like, well, you look stupid. And that's back when I had hair. I'd be like, your hair's messed up. You don't look right. And, you hear these voices, whatever childhood you may have come from, whatever trauma, drama, big T, little t, these voices, and it would just freak me out. In fact, I was asked to speak many times, and I wouldn't speak. I was so afraid. I would take a 0 in high school instead of speak. In college, I didn't want to do it. I was so freaked out by what people thought. And I would hear all these voices, right? That looks stupid. You don't know what you're doing. You're from the wrong family. You shouldn't be here. You're the first one to go to college. You're probably not going to even make it. It's just crazy, right? These lies, these stories. So I was like, dude, I cannot allow this to control me. I want to reclaim and I want to reframe this fear that I have for every time I walk into a room and I just feel like everybody's looking at me, which is kind of prideful, right? Everybody worries about them, right? So people aren't thinking about us as much as we think they are. So I said, man, what could I do to do immersion therapy? I'd read about immersion therapy, like just jump in that thing all the way. So I was like, okay, I was in Austin, Texas. I went to the mall and I bought the ugliest, loudest shirt I could find. And I said, all right, you got to go to the mall. You got to walk around for 2 hours. I'm from the 1900s. We used to go to this place called the mall. Nobody goes there anymore. You have Amazon. That was our mall back then. So I said, man, I got to walk around for 2 hours. And then that night, I was actually going to go and make a small presentation to some students, about 100 students. I was like, dude, I got to wear this shirt all day. I just got to quit worrying and let this fear cripple me. I've got to reclaim this fear and reframe this fear. I wasn't motivated just to do it for myself. I would hear these stories about that, and I wouldn't be that motivated. But I was like, if I could show young people, because most of us are like the rest of us, they had this fear. Man, then I'm motivated to try to break through because I could help somebody else break through. Some of you in this room, you're necessary to break through so that someone else can break through. You got to break in and break out so that someone else can break through. What could you reclaim? What could you reframe? So I went in there, man, sweaty, all pitted out, felt so stupid. It's this weird, it's this ugly shirt. And I went through that whole experience, and guess what? I didn't die. But I felt like I was going to die. And I was like, wow, that was horrible. But man, I overcame that. I reclaimed it and I reframed it. I want to encourage you today. What mess could you turn into a message? What pain could you turn into purpose? What fear could you move to fierceness in your life to reverse the curse that's been given to you? How could you flip the script? How could you reclaim and reframe that fear so that you have a personal breakthrough so that others can break in and others can break out? I want to encourage you, just like when Dan played that song, turn that fear into an anthem.